What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Alright, my friends, August Burns Red, Death Below. Excited to check it out here. I am grateful that we're getting new music, but all these albums I've been reacting to are almost an hour long, and I personally feel like that's too long for an album unless it can like really prove to me that it is worthy of that runtime. I feel the same way like about movies and stuff, where I just feel like, you know, it could have been wrapped up in an hour and a half, and this movie's like over 2.5 hours. So I'm really hoping that I don't want it to drag. I want to be inspired. I want to rock out. I want to have a good time. But again, I'll always give my honest review at the very end, whether I loved it or hate it. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I wasn't a huge fan of Guardians. Like, there's a few songs I go back to, but overall, man, I don't really listen to that album that much. And again, watching that interview with Finn McKenty with Jake saying something, this is a little bit special, a little bit different. So I'm intrigued to check it out here. I mean, you know, Jake's saying that obviously, you know, you want to promote your album the best that you can. So I'm excited to see if they are going to mix things up here or try something new. I'm not entirely sure. They have some cool features on here. They have Jesse Leach. They have Jason Richardson, who's a great guitar player. And then they also have JT from Era, who I mean, Era is just fantastic. So I don't know. We'll see what we have in store here. So again, August Burns Red, Death Below. First song is an opener called Premonition, I believe that's how you say it, and the album's about 54 minutes and 28 seconds. So, without further ado, let's pop it off in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
I still wonder why they released The Reckoning as a single. Like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, I remember getting the email from Sharp Tone saying, like, that they really wanted to put the song out as a single. I don't know, man. Like, to me, it's so long, and it just kind of doesn't really go. Like, it goes places, but it just, I don't know. For me, I just thought it was an odd choice for a single. But that album was, you know, exactly what I thought it was going to be. You know, I know, obviously, when Jake was doing that interview with Finn, you know, obviously you want to promote your album to the best of your ability, and like, I feel like this album sounds exactly the same as the other albums that they've done in the past, which means I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So we are going to talk about it here. My first listen review, it's going to be a little bit different this time around, and you'll see what I mean. But that is coming up next, so please stick around for that. All right, so again, August Burns Red with their new album, Death Below. It's been 3 years since their album, Guardians. And I got to say, man, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It is right there in the middle. I mean, most of their albums nowadays for me are just right there. So for me, there's definitely things that I enjoyed about the album. There's some things that obviously it's going to be the most generic complaints ever, which I'm going to try not to complain about. So we'll mix things up here in the cons section here, but I do want to go over a couple of pros that definitely stuck out to me in this album. Number one, as always, as I mentioned at the very beginning of my video, the lyrics on this band are top tier. I don't know how Jake can like put these songs together lyrically, because I'm like, they're so clever. There's always had those, every song has like a catchy line that I can apply to in my life, and I really enjoyed that about this band. That's honestly probably the main reason why I keep coming back to them, because I can definitely find something in the lyrics that really inspired me to want to be a better person. I've actually shared a couple of lyrics with some friends who've been feeling pretty down, and they're like, dude, did you write that? I'm like, no, actually August Burns Red wrote it. I just figured, you know, you need a little bit of a pick-me-up. And so yeah, the lyrics for me are always top tier. That'll be one thing that I don't think this band is ever going to struggle with, is putting out lyrics that really make you think and make you feel something. And this album is a little bit darker when it comes to the lyrics. Obviously, you know, this album was written, you know, they put out Guardians during the pandemic, and they kind of had to relearn how to, like, you know, like, be a band again and go on tour after the pandemic. So there's definitely some darker moments in there, but even with the darker songs and the darker lyrics, there's still like hope, and I really like that about their music. I love how it goes from like you're struggling, but you can pick yourself back up. So honestly, lyrics are top tier, as always, fantastic. Second thing that I like is I really liked all the features on this. I mean, all of them did a phenomenal job. I mean, Ancestry Jesse, honestly, is the best part of that song. I think that song is really cool. It's got a really cool riff, but it's like, if they could find a way to incorporate that type of singing, obviously Jesse's in Kill Switch, but it's like, if they could find a way to get some singing like that in more of their songs, I really think, for me personally, that would really help August Burns Red. That's just me, you know, because I love screaming and singing together. But again, I think Jesse's the best part of that song. Jason Richardson, I'm not so much of a guitar player, so I couldn't really pick out his part on the song Tightrope. But again, I've heard his other music, and he's fantastic, and he's super talented. JT from Era, I mean, just phenomenal. The Abyss is one of my favorite songs because of JT. I just love the way he sounded. The whole song was really, really cool. But overall, man, yeah, JT was great. And then Spencer from Under Oath. Again, I don't listen to much Under Oath, but again, I really dig Spencer's voice. I think he's really talented. So I love the features on this. There are so many features, and I think it really helps us mix up the songs a little bit, and I really, really enjoyed that. I have to say as well, the last thing I'll say is, like, I really like the scream singing. I thought Jake did a really cool job of that here. Again, it kind of just broke up the monotonous of the album, where it's like it's kind of the same thing over and over, but then like you hear something like on Deadbolt where you can definitely tell it's singing, but he's still screaming along with it. And I thought that kind of mixed things up a little bit here. So, you know, all the features and the different vocal patterns and the lyrics, I really, really enjoyed. But let's jump to the next part and talk about it. So I don't want to go into this section complaining about the most generic things about August Burns Red, because my complaints are going to be it's too long, which it is long. I mean, honestly, there are a few. I'm like, part of me is like, okay, let's just get this going. It's a little too long. You know, obviously they sound the exact same as their other albums. It's kind of the point now where I didn't really know how to approach this review, because I'm just going to complain about the same thing I always do with August Burns Red. So instead of complaining about it, I'm going to propose a couple of questions for you guys here. Again, I always upload this to Patreon first for the $5 tier patrons, so they can get early access to that. But then I do upload these to YouTube. So whether you're on my Patreon or my YouTube channel, definitely drop me a comment, because I would love to know your thoughts. So I have two conversation starters that I do want to propose for you guys here. Number one, are you happy with the way August Burns Red sounds? If you're a huge fan, this is gonna be the best day of your life. And I am a big fan of these guys. Again, probably more for the lyrical aspect of things, but if you love everything about this band, dude, March 24th of 2023, greatest day of your life. So are you happy with the way that it sounds? Like, do you want them to mix it up? Do you want them to change? Are you just satisfied with the way that it is? If you are, let me know down below. The other question I want to ask here is, what do you think they could do to mix things up? Because as I said, man, like, again, all their music just blends together for me. Like, even with Phantom Anthem, an album that I absolutely love, it still sounds like the other material, you know, that they've been putting out. And, you know, it's hard for me to like go like, man, I wish this could be better, that could be better. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask everybody here, what do you think August Burns Red needs to do to mix things up? So whether you think they're perfect the way they are, let me know. Or if you have an idea of to mix things up to make not every song kind of sound the same, definitely let me know. I'd love to get a conversation started with you guys here. For me, I would love more like singing. I think that would be really, really cool. And to be honest, like, the simple parts of the songs, like the simple breakdowns, the simple riffs, not the overly complicated stuff, actually like better than the technical stuff. So again, I don't want to say do more simple stuff, but it's like maybe incorporate a little bit of both. I don't know, for the next album. So my top 3 favorite songs from this album here, I would say number 1, still going to be Backfire. That song, I think it's truly one of the best August Burns Red songs they've ever done. It just has so much going for it. It's just fast-paced, it's heavy, it just works for me. It's a really good metal song, and I really, really enjoyed that song. I'd also say Dark Divide. I think Dark Divide is probably the best song on the album. I would say, I mean, there's just so many good moving parts to it. Really fun to listen to, really exciting. And then I would also say The Abyss. Again, I'm telling you, man, just JT's part was so sick. Like, I thought it was really cool. Like, I just love his like tone and how full his voice sound. So for me, and like that ominous like opening and kind of that cool intro and everything about that song for me worked personally. And so those are my top 3 songs from this album. Am I going to go back and listen to this album here in the near future? To be honest, I'm probably not going to, because again, like, everything sounds the same, so it's like, why listen to an album that sounds the same as the other ones, but I prefer the other ones more. With Death Below, I feel like there was an improvement over Guardians, because again, some people like that album. I just didn't really find much enjoyment in it. Again, I think that's when I started to get the August Burns Red fatigue. There are a few songs on there that I really enjoyed. But overall, man, I do think this one is a little bit better. There's more songs on here that I would probably go back to. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know, man. I only really listen to this band to, like, get inspired, like, from the lyrics. So if I need, like, a pick-me-up, I'll probably put on August Burns Red. But I don't know if I'm going to jam this album again, to be honest. Like, again, that's why I love doing, like, you know, videos like this, because I feel like I just wouldn't really go back to it. I'm not saying I'm outgrowing them, because I do appreciate them as a band, and their music is cool. This album is not bad by any means, but it's also just not, you know, it's not great by any means. But for me, like, I liked it. I liked it fine. It's good. You know, they're very talented. They're very cool. They seem like they're very cool dudes. But I don't know, man. Maybe I'm getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't know, like, we're being so spoiled this year, like, again, like Veil of Maya, Sleep Token, those types of things, where they are really bringing something fresh and new, while August Burns Red's kind of just staying where they're comfortable. And I don't know, maybe coming out of that comfort zone a little bit, maybe I'll like them more, even though I already like them. I'm kind of just contradicting myself here. So let me just give it a score. I'm giving this album, Death Below, a 7.5 out of 10. I thought, again, it's solid. It's got some really cool moments. It's got some throwaway moments as well, like Fool's Gold and A Bear Trap. I thought was kind of a throwaway song, but overall, man, I liked the album. Didn't love it. I just liked it.